Hey, Hoosier fans, Greg Murray alongside Griffin Gonzalez back with another edition of our summer series as we bounce around to the different IU varsity sports, chatting with some different Hoosier athletes, picking their brain and seeing what they're up to here over the summer in 2020. And this week, Griffin, we have a fabulous episode as joining us now, Mitch Davis from the IU men's golf team. Mitch, appreciate you taking some time to chat with us, man. How are you?
I'm doing pretty well. Thank you.
Where are you at right now? As everybody's in a different spot through quarantine, and it's summertime. Are you in Bloomington? You back home? Where are you at right now?
Yeah, I'm in Bloomington, just at the house I live in all year long. So just hanging out here.
Very good. Well, let's talk just briefly about what these last few months have been like for you as the season ends prematurely, obviously, and back in the mid-March times. What's been going on with you the last few months as quarantines hit and golf is obviously a sport that you can do maybe a little bit more than, say, a football or a basketball workout, but summarize what these last few months have been like.
Well, I've gotten a job, been working at a Bloomington Country Club where I also have playing privileges, so I get to play and practice there all I want. So it's a pretty good gig. That's pretty much all I've been doing.
You know, you guys actually just got big news this past week. And part of the reason we wanted to have a new kind of golf course over there at Indiana University, right off the highway, the new have you been able to see it at all? And what are your initial thoughts on it?
We're not really allowed to go out there very much, but we did qualify on it this fall or this past fall for last season, and played quite a few rounds on it. And it's a beast. It's quite a course. It's top notch. It's really good.
They brought some media members out there last week. It just recently opened up to the public, and I was fortunate enough to go out there. And admittedly, I'm not a great golfer by any stretch, but can confirm unbelievably difficult. But my goodness, it's gorgeous. Mitch, in your opinion, what makes a good golf course when you're going around to these different courses around the state, around the country, and beyond? What things do you really look for to say, man, that's a really nice track?
Well, I think first thing is smooth, quick, healthy greens, which our superintendent, Anthony, he's the best in the world at what he does, and those greens are amazing. So that's number one for me. Next would be tee shots. I mean, they got to be good, tough tee shots, I think, to make a world-renowned course. It's Zoysia grass, so it's nice and greened up right now. You get great lies in it. It's not very forgiving, but yeah, pretty much tee shots, good greens, and then just the overall look of the course. And I mean, as you said, that course is beautiful, so it kind of has everything you need.
Now, Mitch, you hear all the time how golf is just such a mental toughness kind of game. You got to always be in that right. What you're doing, how you're planning, and you can't get too far ahead of yourself or too far behind. Especially when you're in college and you got a million other things going on outside of golf. How do you keep that mental stability? How do you stay focused, and how do you keep?
Well, it's something that all of us are always working on. Me especially, I've had to work on it quite a bit since I got to college. I was kind of a hothead. Just had to, cool it down and kind of let myself have some fun. The tougher the golf course, though, the tougher it is. I mean, we played 36 holes of qualifying, our first day of qualifying on the foul course last time. Physically it was tough because we walked all about between 18 and 20 miles that day. But, I mean, all the guys agreed. It felt like we were just in a physical fight when we were done because, I mean, there's a bad number on every single one of those holes if you hit a bad tee shot. So it was just kind of staying alert, staying in the moment, and really just staying focused and calm.
How much so far in your career, being at Indiana for a couple of years, how much have you grown on that mental side? I just imagine, when you're in competition with others from other schools and in an event like that, you get down to the final few holes, things are getting tight. How much have you grown on the mental side of the game?
Quite a bit. I mean, anyone could tell you, especially Coach Mayer, because he's worked with me a lot, that coming in, I had some pretty high expectations. When I don't reach my expectations, I get a little frustrated, and I just kind of get my own way. And he's really helped me quite a bit, open up and learn to let myself, do what I train to do, which is at the end of the day, shoot the lowest score I can.
we're in a time where everyone's being asked to be socially distant, and there's not a lot of sports in the world that you're able to do that. But golf is one of the fortunate few where you can be out there all day long by yourself. During quarantine, have you found yourself playing more golf, the same amount of golf, or a little less?
A little bit less, just because I was working. I was working about 40 hours a week, so I was used to practicing somewhere between 7, 8, 9 hours a day, and that got cut down to like 3 or 4 just because of work. But yeah, golf is a really cool game because you can do it. You can social distance. They just put pool noodles in the bottom of the cups, so you don't have to take the flags out and stuff. So they did everything they could to keep people safe, and it's worked great, and it's a lot of fun.
Mitch, you came to Indiana from the state of Indiana, but up in the northern part from Chesterton High School. As the recruiting process took place, and you think back to that, ultimately, why Indiana University?
Well, I just felt like I could grow the most as a player and as a person here. I didn't really mind if I, traveled kind of far away from my home to go to school, but I loved Coach Mayer. I loved Coach Sedonis. I love the facilities. I love the atmosphere. The passion everyone has for Indiana University, and it's great to play for your home state. It's an honor.
Go ahead, Griffin.
Sorry, but just kind of halfway through, you've been talking about that mental toughness and growing with that and maturing with that. Halfway through your time at Indiana University, what areas do you really feel you've matured the most?
I think it's pretty even, just kind of all the way around. As a person, just being experiencing and being exposed to new and different people, other than just being like cornered up in Northwest Indiana, where everyone's just kind of steel mill, blue collar, all this stuff. So meeting a lot of new people, and golf wise, just really mentally, I've gotten better, but socially as well. I've made a lot of good friends here, and it just turned out great place to be.
You've made a pretty quick impact on this program. You did as a freshman, posting the second lowest average in program history for your freshman year. This past year, although cut short, you led the team in average. How much do you take kind of the weight on your shoulders to try and be more and more of a leader on this program, especially now as you look ahead to you being an upperclassman on this team?
Yeah, well, Coach Mayer and I talked about this quite a bit. As an underclassman, you're not really trying to be the voice of the team. You're trying to sit back and learn from the older guys. And I like to work. I got a pretty good work ethic. I'm not afraid to stay out there as long as it takes, or even longer than it takes, just to prove a point to some guys. But I really just tried to lead by example and work my butt off. And my score showed that. And I'm excited about these next couple of years as an upperclassman, because I can start to voice my opinion and give guys some advice and kind of lead them in the right direction and push them a little bit more too.
Generally speaking, this quarantine stuff's been different for everybody. Give us a silver lining of these last few months. What's something you've learned or something you've done, something that you've gained in a positive way from all this?
Just gratitude, for the everyday things we take advantage of that, we don't really realize we have. Being able to go out and, take my girlfriend to the movies, go have a date night, or, go hang out with some friends, go to a party where there's 10, 15, 20 people. We can't do that now. Or even going out and, playing tournament golf, all that's canceled, and I took it for granted. I think everybody does. And I think this is a very, eye-opening experience, that we have a lot of freedoms and privileges that we take for granted every day, and we need to take advantage of them from now on.
You mentioned golf and tournament golf, but it just struck me now that golf's coming back a little bit. You're seeing now these professional tournaments without fans. What are your thoughts on the added value from a TV broadcast as they're starting to mic up some players and maybe try some different things to get a little bit more access?
Yeah, it's interesting. I think golf ratings went up like 150% from last week, and that's without Tiger Woods playing in it. People are craving sport, something to watch. I know NASCAR was on for a little bit before that, and ratings were way up for that too, and they're just driving around in circles. So, for the game of golf, I think it's great, because I know a lot of people, a lot of kids anyway, they can't play baseball, soccer, football, And so their parents are sending them out to play golf because that's the only thing they can do. And, you know, they're learning to play and they're, you know, starting to kind of get a love for the game. And I think it's great. I think it's great for the game of golf, great for TV ratings. And as far as mic up players, I think it's hilarious. You know, they're just like everyday guys. Some of the stuff they say, you know, you're just like, you know, they're professionals and they're just talking like they're your average Joe. It's pretty cool.
Mitch, you got to be careful. There's a big racing crowd in Indiana. You don't want to insult them with that left turn comment. Mitch, you know, you mentioned how those ratings have been going up. You've been watching professional golf. I've always been curious because I know a lot of athletes like yourself like to watch professionals and kind of craft their game after somebody else, and golf is one of the most popular sports to do that with. Is there a certain golfer that you really try to watch closely on their swing, their form, their temperament, anything like that that you really look up to?
You know, I can't really name one person in particular. I mean, my favorite golfer of all time is Tiger Woods. I'm kind of bandwagoner, you know, grew up, you know, kind of watching him late in his career dominate and coming back now. But, you know, just watching everyone and being kind of selfish and trying to take little parts of their game and trying to implement them into yours, whether it be the way their swing looks, how they act on the golf course, you know, the way they putt, chip, etc. It doesn't matter. You're just trying to take the little things you like from everyone and kind of make it your own and find yourself in what you're doing.
We're going to go a little bit more of I don't know if rapid fire, but kind of bounce all over the place with some questions. If you could describe Coach Mayer or playing under Coach Mayer in one word, what would it be?
Well, describe Coach Mayer or just playing under him?
We can even do both.
Passionate. He's a very passionate guy. He loves what he does.
How about playing under him? What's it like in one word?
Entertaining. Yeah, he's a really fun guy to be around. He's serious. He can be goofy. He can mess around with you while you're playing. But yeah, entertaining, I think, is the word.
Mitch, you mentioned you've been living in Bloomington for the summer, working at the Bloomington Country Club. I got to ask, you know, you're one of the lucky ones who gets to be close to campus right now. On that campus, as a student or as a golfer, what is your favorite spot throughout IU Bloomington?
Foul course. Obviously.
You can't say the golf course. You cannot. You got to say something other than the golf course.
All right. Our practice facility is next to the golf course. How about that?
A nice cop-out answer, but I guess we'll take it. How about restaurant, Mitch? What you're going to find some food anywhere in Bloomington? Where are you going?
Either Mother Bear's or La Cha. It's a toss-up. If you want Mexican or you want pizza, but those are my two favorite.
Both are great options. Mitch, you know, you Chesterton High School, you're kind of in that middle range between Indianapolis and Chicago, and you root for. So are you more of a Chicago sports fan?
Chicago, but I'm not really into a ton of sports. You know, I grew up going to some Sox games, some Cubs games. Never been to a Bears game. Never been to a Colts game. You know, definitely more Bulls fan than a Pacers fan, though.
So were you primarily just golf growing up, multiple sport guy? What kind of sports are you into, maybe other than golf, if any, as an athlete, you know, growing up in middle school and things like that?
Yeah, I didn't really start playing golf, like actually playing it, you know, quite a bit until I was about 12 or 13. I was terrible when I was 12. I would have never thought I could play in college, and I just kept getting a little bit better. Younger, I played everything: soccer, baseball, football, basketball, swimming, you know, all that stuff. My parents just kind of exposed me to everything and didn't really tell me to, you know, go any one direction, just whatever I liked. They always, you know, if I wanted to do soccer and baseball, they'd let me do both or whatever I wanted. And then I had elbow surgery when I was like 11 or 12. And I couldn't do anything for like 4 to 6 months. And I just missed golf the most, even though I wasn't that good at it. But it just how fun it was, how you could do it on your own. So I was just kind of put all my eggs in one basket and try to get as good as I could as fast as I could.
Mitch, I think they pick different characteristics. Sometimes they pick the best athlete for this question. Sometimes they pick the better person. For you growing up, is there could be a family member, could be a professional athlete, somebody you really saw as a mentor that really helped shape whether it be your golf game or you as a person?
Yeah, yeah, this is clear cut for me. A guy named Rick Grassel. His daughter's name is Kelly Grassel. She played at Florida University. She went to Chester in high school. She set an SEC record, was top 10 amateur in the world. And he just he belonged to the same club we did, and he saw my work ethic, and I mean, he saw that maybe there wasn't a lot of talent there, maybe not a ton to work with, but I was willing to put in the work. So he came up to me and talked to me a little bit, asked my parents if he could work with me a little bit, and then he introduced me to his friend who's an actual PGA swing coach, and started working with them. But he shaped the way I play, practice, and am on the golf course, and as a person more than anyone, probably besides my family.
Mitch, we've talked a decent amount about the foul course, and obviously when you talk IU golf, that's the big topic of conversation, and its beauty and its difficulty and just how much it adds to Indiana University's golf programs on the men and women's side. As you've grown up in golf and gotten better and better and more experience, what around the country, what kind of courses really stand out to you as the most memorable, either that you've been to or played on? Do you have a few of them that really stand out?
Yeah, I do. I think my favorite golf course of all time is Olympia Fields up in Chicago. We get to play that every year, fortunately, and just a good, tough, old track. You know, there's been a U.S. Open there. I think the the BMW Championship's going to be there this year. I mean, we're with the best teams in the country. It's great. Big Tens last year, we played at a place called Philadelphia Cricket Club, which was established in 1854. Ton of history there. Amazing golf course, and I played pretty well the last couple rounds, and with Coach Mayer next to me, that was pretty memorable. Those are probably my two favorite courses.
Any desire or experience going down to, I'm sure the desire maybe is there, but to go down to Augusta?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. To play in the Masters, yeah. I wouldn't want to go as a spectator. I'd probably jump over the ropes and try to steal a club and hit a ball or something. But I think I'll make it down there to play sometime. Yeah.
Other than Augusta, because it just came up, is there any club, any course that's on your list that you really, really would love to try sometime in your life?
Probably St. Andrews. Just everything I've heard about it, the history, all the different ways you can play with the winds, and yeah, probably St. Andrews, home of golf.
Love that answer. Back in as a redhead myself, the home country of Scotland. Love that answer. Mitch, we'll wrap up with just something off the walls and kind of let you take over. We try and end with, give us something that people don't know about you. It can be a hobby that you have, non-sports related. Give us something that nobody knows about Mitch Davis.
This is tough. I'm kind of an open book.
What about even a show? What do you binge watching these days?
What do I binge watch? Avatar: The Last Airbender just came on Netflix, and I don't think I saw the last season as a kid, so I binge watched that pretty hard. Finished that up in about a week or so. Yeah, definitely Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Love that answer.
It's a good show. Good answer, man.
Love it. Well, Mitch, again, we appreciate you taking some time to chat with us. It's good to get to know you a little bit, and we hope to see you out at the foul course soon. And once everything returns to normal and school's back in session, the season's back underway and things like that. But have a great rest of the summer, and go Hoosiers. Thank you a lot, Mitch.
Great. Thank you so much. Go Hoosiers.